Hi all artists and creators. Today we're going to learn about space and perspective. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of paper, and from the bottom corners you're going to draw diagonally up towards the middle with a line going through the middle as well, as you can see on my paper here. Then you're going to find any item you want. I chose a pair of scissors because it's what I had on hand, and I'm going to focus on drawing the contour shape of my scissors. I'm going to start off by drawing them a little bit bigger than life size. I'm using the lines on my paper as a type of guide. This will help in the future. After I've drawn that slightly bigger than life size one, I move down the triangle that is drawn and I draw a slightly smaller, closer to life size form of scissors. As you get closer to that vanishing point at the top of the paper, the scissors will get as small as they can be. As you see here, I do the same thing. I repeat the step. I just make the contour of the shape get smaller. Not coloring anything in yet, just focusing on making the shape smaller as I go down the triangle. Just cleaning it up a little bit. Again here, making it smaller. You're going to draw whatever shape you decide to 5 times. I do mine a little bit more than 5 times, just to show you the example of a vanishing spot. So here I'm just really trying to get my shape the right size. I've got 4 shapes, now I'm working on the 5th. The 5th would be your last one. Notice how much smaller it's gotten now. Now it is below that middle line. Let's clean it up a little bit. As it gets further down the middle, it gets smaller and smaller. Just as you see here, I work towards the middle and it's almost disappearing. That is called the vanishing point for this assignment. So a little bit of clarification. As you can see here, I'm drawing the same thing on a separate piece of paper. Drawing 2 lines going from top to bottom, but from the corners of each page, with a middle line running through, creating a triangle. That point at the very top of the triangle on the left-hand side of the paper is called the vanishing point. That is where the point of our drawing disappears. You can no longer see it anymore because you're looking so far away that it's just completely vanished. Imagine driving down a road and you can only see so far. That very furthest spot just being a pinprick. That's exactly what's happening here, but in the form of a drawing. For the second part, you're doing the exact same thing you did on the first piece of paper, but on a second piece of paper. So again, drawing the same shape, starting larger than life size, and then getting smaller as you make your way down the triangle. This time you're working from right to left instead of left to right, like we did in the first video. Again, drawing 5 of the same shape as you get smaller, or as you go down, getting smaller. Use the triangle as a guide to try and get the symmetry on both sides. Notice how my scissors are the same size on both sides. That's because I'm using the triangle that's drawn as a guide to help me see and measure where I need to go. If something's slightly above the middle line, I'll draw it slightly above the middle line. If it's slightly below, I'll draw it slightly below. That's why I highly recommend using pencils for this project. That way, if you need to erase, you can erase. I mean, look at how many times I've erased. We're all human, we all make mistakes, but we want to change those mistakes into masterpieces. So again, I've worked my way down that triangle. As you can see, it's gone from bigger to about life size, to smaller than life size, to miniature, to even smaller, and then it's eventually disappearing. You don't have to draw it till it completely disappears, but you do want to draw it so it gets small. The next part is going to be to color. We're going to talk a little bit about colors that are complementary and something called gradation. Complementary colors are across from each other on the color wheel. So the 2 colors that I chose are blue and orange. You can choose any complementary colors that you want. I will post a complementary color wheel for you guys to see and pick from. Now notice how in the beginning on each scissors, whether it's blue or orange, I'm drawing the color as dark as I can by pressing harder and harder, giving that color a density. And then as I move down, it gets lighter and lighter, eventually being so light it almost looks white. This is called a gradation or a value scale, going from dark to light or changing the hue of a color from one to another. Then to make it just slightly darker and more prominent, I add black, because black shades the color and makes it a little bit more emphasized that it's getting darker, as you can see here, but still sticking with that same concept of getting lighter, going from dark to light. So you want to pick complementary colors Then you want to gradate them by pressing hard, and then as you get further down, press lighter. I just was experimenting here and decided to outline them in Sharpie to see how it would look. I kind of think I like it, so I might continue doing that. This is your goal for the class, or for this assignment, is to draw any item you want, whether it is a Lego piece, a piece of candy, hairbrush, a makeup brush, a marker, a toy cart, whatever you want. You're just going to draw it going from bigger to smaller as you work down that scale, down that line of direction to the vanishing point. Then you're going to pick complementary colors. Complementary colors, this color wheel will be attached to this, so you'll get to pick. They're across from each other on the color wheel. Then you're going to want to gradate them, so going from dark to light, making the color as light as you can get it as you work your way down. If you have any questions on this perspective space project, please send me a message and I will help you as fast as I can. Again, this video focuses only on perspective, space, color, gradation, tone, and value, along with making something go from bigger to smaller and color going from darker to lighter. Try your best to do this. You only have to make one item go from bigger to smaller 5 times, and you only have to make the color get as light as you can get it from beginning to end. So the first one should be as dark as you can make it, and then gradually lightening up your pressure on your pencil.